A few days into the 2026 World Cup, in the United States game against Paraguay, a winger went down in a heap as a defender ran past him. The replay showed something almost funny. There was no contact at all, none. The defender never touched him, and yet the player hit the floor like he had been shot, and the referee bought it completely, booking the innocent defender for a foul that never happened. It was small, it was almost routine. And that is exactly the point. Because cheating in football is not a glitch. It is a craft, perfected over decades. And the World Cup is where the greatest cheats of all time have pulled off their masterpieces in front of the entire planet. We are talking about handballs to win quarterfinals, dives so theatrical they got opponents sent off, drug tests failed by legends, and an assault so brutal it left a man unconscious, with the referee doing absolutely nothing. These are the most shameless cheats in World Cup history. Let's start with the most cold-blooded act of cheating the modern World Cup has ever seen, and the man who, to this day, is proud of it. 2010 World Cup, quarterfinal, Uruguay against Ghana. And this is not just any game. Ghana are on the brink of history. No African nation had ever reached a World Cup semifinal, and the whole continent is behind them. The match is locked at 1-1, deep into the last minute of extra time, and Ghana send everyone forward. A header loops goalward. It is going in. It is the winner. It is the moment that makes history. And standing on the goal line is Uruguay's Luis Suarez. With no time to do anything legal, Suarez throws both hands up and punches the ball off the line. A deliberate, blatant handball. A volleyball save. He is sent off, of course, but here is the genius and the horror of it. Ghana are given a penalty in the very last seconds, score it, and they are in the semi-final anyway. And Asamoah Gyan steps up and smashes it off the crossbar. The game goes to a shootout, Uruguay win, and Ghana, a kick away from making history, are out. And as the Ghanaians collapsed in tears, Suarez, who had been sent to the tunnel, celebrated wildly. He later called it the save of the tournament, said the real hand of God now belonged to him, and has never once apologized. He cheated, on purpose, in the most decisive moment imaginable, and it worked perfectly. Cheating does not get more shameless than being proud you did it. If Suarez cheated to win a game, our next man cheated to win an award nobody hands out. Best Actor. 2002 World Cup, Brazil against Turkey. The Brazilian legend Rivaldo, a Ballon d'Or winner, one of the best players on the planet, is standing by the corner flag, waiting to take a corner. A frustrated Turkish player, Hakan Ünsal, kicks the ball towards him, and it strikes Rivaldo. On the thigh. On the leg. Nowhere near his head. And what does Rivaldo do? He collapses to the ground, clutching his face, rolling around in apparent agony as if he has been hit by a brick. It is one of the most outrageous pieces of acting ever committed on a football pitch. And it worked. The referee, seeing a world-famous player writhing on the floor holding his face, sent Hakan Ünsal off. Turkey, in a World Cup match, were reduced to 10 men because a ball touched a man's leg and he pretended it hit his face. FIFA were so unimpressed they later fined Rivaldo, and his response was perfect. He admitted the ball had not hit his face, but insisted he was still the victim. No shame, no apology, just a Ballon d'Or winner taking a dive so brazen they had to invent new punishments for it. Sometimes, though, the cheating is not a dive or a handball. It is the art of getting an opponent to destroy himself, and nobody has ever done it more famously than Diego Simeone. In 1998. Round of 16, England against Argentina, one of the great World Cup rivalries. England's young star David Beckham is fouled by Simeone and goes down. And as Beckham lies on the floor, Simeone leans over him and gives him the lightest, most provocative little flick of the heel. A tap, nothing more. Beckham, frustrated, flicks his own leg back and catches Simeone. And this is where the masterclass begins. Simeone goes down as if he has been shot by a sniper, clutching himself, rolling, demanding the referee act. The referee, Kim Milton-Nielsen, falls for it completely and shows Beckham a red card. For a flick that would not have hurt a child. Argentina's players, by their own later admission, swarmed the referee to make sure the card came out. England, down to 10 men, fought heroically and lost on penalties. And David Beckham, 23 years old, went home to become the most hated man in England, burned in effigy, abused for years, all because an opponent was clever enough to turn a tiny flick into a sending off. Simeone got exactly what he wanted. That is not a foul. That is a con. Now, not all cheating is sneaky. Some of it is just violence, and the most infamous example did not even get a foul. 1982 World Cup, the semi-final, France against West Germany. France's Patrick Battiston is sent clean through on goal by a brilliant Michel Platini pass. He reaches the ball first, pokes it past the on-rushing German goalkeeper, Harald Schumacher, and then Schumacher, instead of going for the ball that is already gone, leaps and smashes into Battiston with a full, brutal, body-first charge, hip and forearm crashing into his face. Battiston goes down and does not move. He is knocked unconscious. He loses 2 teeth, breaks 3 ribs, and damages vertebrae in his back. Platini, his teammate, later said he ran over, took his pulse, and genuinely feared his friend was dead. It is, to this day, widely called the most horrific challenge in the history of the World Cup. And the punishment? Nothing. The Dutch referee somehow gave no red card, no yellow card, not even a foul. He awarded West Germany a goal kick. And while a stretcher was carried on for the motionless Battiston, Schumacher stood by his post, looking bored, bouncing on his toes, waiting to restart. Afterwards, told that Battiston had lost teeth, he shrugged and offered to pay for his dentures. A man was nearly killed. The cheat got away with it completely, and he could not have cared less. And then there is the kind of cheating that does not happen on the pitch at all. The kind that happens in a bottle. 1994 World Cup in the United States. And Diego Maradona, yes, the hand of God himself, is having a glorious tournament, rolling back the years, scoring against Greece, and sprinting to the camera with that wild, bulging-eyed celebration the whole world remembers. And then he was tested. And the test came back positive for ephedrine, a banned stimulant. Maradona was thrown out of the World Cup, on the spot, mid-tournament. The greatest player on the planet, sent home in disgrace for failing a drugs test. He always insisted it was an accident, a mislabeled supplement his trainer had given him, but it did not matter. The rules do not care about your excuses. The man who had already cheated England with his hand 8 years earlier was now caught cheating with chemistry, and his World Cup, and effectively his international career, ended right there. Because the dark arts are not only about acting and elbows. Sometimes the shortcut is pharmaceutical, and those are just the famous ones. The truth is, cheating at the World Cup is not just a few infamous moments. It is an entire hidden craft that every great team practices, and almost nobody gets punished for. The professionals call them the dark arts. There is simulation, the dive, perfected to a science, the delayed fall, the extra roll, the hands thrown up to demand a card for an opponent. The way a player will go down holding his face when he has been touched on the shoulder, because he knows a head injury looks worse on the referee's monitor. There is time wasting, raised to an art form. The goalkeeper who takes 45 seconds over a goal kick. The substituted player who strolls off at the opposite corner. The throw-in that somehow takes a full minute. There is the shirt pulling and the wrestling at every single corner, hidden in the chaos. The tactical foul, cynically chopping down an opponent the instant your team loses the ball, trading a yellow card for stopping a counterattack. And the fake injury, going down, hurt, at the perfect moment to break the other team's momentum, then making a miraculous recovery 30 seconds later. None of it is an accident. All of it is rehearsed. The biggest, most respected teams in the world do it in every match. And we have all just quietly agreed to pretend it is not cheating at all. And here is the part that should bother us most. The cheats, more often than not, win. Suarez handballed Ghana out of a World Cup, and Uruguay went to the semi-final. Rivaldo got a man sent off with a dive, and Brazil won that game, that group, and went on to lift the whole trophy. Simeone conned a referee into a red card, and Argentina knocked England out. Schumacher nearly put an opponent in hospital with no punishment, and West Germany won that game on penalties and walked into the World Cup final. Across the sport's biggest stage, again and again, the player who cheated did not get caught, did not get punished, and did not lose. They got the result. The lesson the World Cup keeps teaching, whether we like it or not, is a deeply uncomfortable one. Cheating, done well, at the right moment, works. And the people who do it walk away with the win, the trophy, and absolutely no shame about how they got it. Which is exactly why football keeps trying to catch them. And at the 2026 World Cup, they are trying again. VAR now has new powers to retrospectively punish a diver, to go back after the fact, and book a player who conned the referee. It sounds like the end of simulation, until you read the small print. Because the rules only let VAR step in to punish the dive if the referee has already booked the wrong player. If the diver gets away clean, no card given to anyone, the machine is not even allowed to look. Which means the smartest cheats, the ones who go down without getting an innocent man booked, are still completely safe. So here we are, a century into the sport, with all the cameras and all the technology, and the dark arts are alive and well, being practiced in this very tournament by some of the most famous players on Earth. The methods get more sophisticated, the acting gets better, and somewhere in the 2026 World Cup, a player is about to go down holding his face, win his team something they did not earn, get up, and feel absolutely no shame at all. Because in football, the most shameless cheats have always understood the one rule that actually matters. It is only cheating if you get caught.